What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome back to another episode of Remember the Great Sports. I have 4 envelopes that are all postmarked back from the Austin, Texas, or state of Texas area. So I've got a pretty good idea what these are. I've shared these cards on a couple of my videos already. Specifically, I posted a few of these cards on the baby powdering video, how to prep your cards, and the autograph tips and discussion video. I also posted a unopened box of these on one of my card show pickups, or excuse me, card shop pickups at one of my local card shops. So I decided to do some research on some of these former players and contact them with some of these cards. So the first one I'm going to open up here is from Austin, Texas. And this is indeed one of the University of Texas alums. And that is Cotton Spire on 5 of 5. And basically I showed you that I had that box of cards. And I believe that's actually the card that I used in my video, right there, to powder. And he signed 5 of 5, and he's a former University of Texas alum that was on the 1969 and 1970 championship teams. This one here is a catch that he made against against UCLA when they came back to win in the closing moments of the game. This is just an overall career card of his from 68 to 70, wide receiver. He was on 2 of the national championship teams. This one talks about the championship. This is a All-American card that he signed. And this one is a dual card that unfortunately James Street has passed away, so he won't be able to sign this. I believe he was alive at the time the card was made, but he's passed away in the last couple of years. So, and that was the quarterback on Texas. I think he played in the NFL. Street did, but he didn't have much of a career. I'm not sure about Cotton, whether or not he played in the NFL, but very happy to add those University of Texas alumni cards to the collection. All right, we got another one here, postmarked from Austin. So it's cool to see that a lot of these guys stuck around their university town after they retired. Oh, okay, I know who this one is. And this is signed 1 of 1, and I just stuck a index card in there. Bobby Dillon, not to be confused with Bob Dylan, the music performer, but Bobby Dillon, who was probably around before the Bob Dylan, was a defensive back in 1949 through 1951 at the University of Texas. An All-American selection at Texas, Dillon was tabbed by Green Bay in the 3rd round of the 52 draft. He played 8 seasons in the NFL, making first team All-Pro 4 times. So he was a great NFL player as well as Texas Longhorn. So thank you very much. I opened a couple boxes of these, and I only pulled one out of the box. So very happy to get that one back. Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Again, these cards are relatively cheap. I paid $5 for an unopened box of 10 or 12 packs. So if you can get your hands on these, some of these guys are still around. You know, like Mr. Dillon, who had an 8-year NFL career after he played at Texas. So very happy to get that one. This next one is also postmarked from Austin, Texas. And like I said, a lot of these guys, when I got these back, I know exactly, kind of really messing this envelope up. And this is another all-time alumni, looks like. Can't tell from the back who that is, but Roosevelt Leaks. And he signed 5 of 5. NCAA All-Americans. Let's get that one. That's just the regular base card. Here is a triple card with him on it, and AJ Jam Jones. I don't know who that is. I obviously know who Earl Campbell is, though. And a second card with him and just Earl Campbell on there. And Mr. Campbell, not talk about Roosevelt Leaks, but I know Earl Campbell was still around. I know he makes limited appearances, typically in the Texas area. He, from last I heard, is confined to a wheelchair, so he doesn't leave his residence too often. Probably has, in-home care or something to that extent. So he's not able to make public appearances anymore. But many years ago, before these cards were in my possession, Mr. Campbell used to sign through the mail requests. I don't think that he does anymore. I'm talking like probably 15 years plus ago, early 2000s. I got Mr. Campbell a couple times through the mail. Unfortunately, these cards didn't exist. Otherwise, I definitely would have had those, to get signed. But going back to Roosevelt Leaks, he was the running back before Earl Campbell. If you look at the time on the card there, sorry, I'll get that a little centered. But Rosie was the running back from 72 to 74. Then Earl Campbell was the running back from 74 to 77. So Leaks was kind of the predecessor to Earl Campbell at the University of Texas, it appears. I know Leaks played a couple years in the NFL. I want to say 5, 6, somewhere in there. Let's see if one of these cards tells me. Ranked 7th all time on the career list at Texas at 2,923 yards. He set the school single game record for rushing yards on the road with 342. All right, let's just see if it says anything about his NFL career. Was elected to the Longhorns Hall of Honor in '85. Let's see. That just talks about him and Campbell. And this one, Jam Jones, is, I guess, the person that replaced Campbell in 1978. Yeah, it doesn't really say. Unlike the Bob Dillon card, it doesn't really talk about his pro career. But I know Roosevelt Leaks played a couple years pro. Thank you, Mr. Leaks, for adding these to the Texas Longhorns collection. One last one here, also postmarked from Austin, Texas, is... Kind of tore the heck out of that one, didn't I? Oh, okay. This is Ted Coy. I'm just going to go off camera here for a second. Yikes. Well, you'll see what I mean by saying yikes here in a second, but unfortunately, the top one here looks like the best, and that was kind of in a dying Sharpie. And that's one, and he signed a second one with his brother on the card, and a third one with his brother. Actually, that one doesn't look too bad, with his brother Ernie. And I had sent to Ernie probably over a year or two ago, before I started doing TTM Thursday videos. So now that I have a second Ted, I might send that off to Ernie and see if he'll sign as well. And the Sharpie just kept dying more, it looks like, as we go down the list here. So that one's not so bad, but you definitely needed a new Sharpie by that point. And this one probably is the worst out of the group. Very streaky and very light. But thank you, Mr. Coyer, for returning those. Very happy to finish the dual card with your brother on there. And like I said, I might send this one to Ernie. I know I have a couple more Ernies out of the set, like his brother, so I might get those out and see if he'll sign as well. But The Coyer brothers were running backs also at the University of Texas. Looks like one after the other. Like Ernie is the older brother. He was there from 62 to 4. Then his younger brother was there from 67 to 69 as running backs. So I guess the common theme going back to all these is they had some pretty nice running backs throughout their career. You know, Earl Campbell included. So very cool to add all of these University of Texas autographs to my collection. Like I said, these are relatively cheap to find. You could probably go on eBay and find a box for $10 shipped to your door. Check out some of my other videos, you know, about this. I have a video of me opening the box that you guys might enjoy. To give you a better idea of what the set looks like in box form and what you get out of the packs, you know, definitely check out that video, and it might inspire you to buy a box and start writing some of these guys, because the majority of the guys that played at the University of Texas, not that they weren't great players, you know, I don't want to take that away from any of the players that are featured in the set, but really Earl Campbell is probably the only big name that probably would be difficult to get, you know, out of the set, other than of course the people that have passed away. There are a few people that I would love to have autographs from that are in the set, but they've unfortunately passed away, so it won't be, you know, possible to do that unless you happen to pull an autograph out of the box of them or something, which I think the autographs are, you know, seated in there somehow. But I've bought 2 or 3 boxes of them and never pulled an autograph out, so I wouldn't count on that if you're thinking you're going to get an autograph out of the box. But very happy, very good set to have for TTMs. There's also a Notre Dame set out there, but like the Notre Dame set, there's some very difficult TTM and in-person people in there. I mean, like, you know, Joe Montana's not going to sign for you through the mail. Tim Brown comes to mind. He's in the set. Maybe Jerome Bettis. I can't remember. And unfortunately, Ara Parseghian passed away, who is in the set, but he used to be a good signer through the mail. Thank you very much for watching the video. I look forward to shooting more videos for you guys in the future, and leave some comments below. Thanks.